live on Facebook.
Oh, here we go. Yes, I'm always on the wrong screen. So hi, everybody.
Hi,
Well,
Gayle.
welcome to the middle of the day. A lot of people are at work in their offices, and I'm disturbing you with your Facebook notifications, so I know you don't mind. Um, so it's me, it's Gayle. I'm here live to promote again for my event next Wednesday in New York City. So those of you who have been paying attention are knowing that I am asking a lot to please just check in and see what's going on. For those of you who don't know, I'm doing I'm hosting a networking and workshop event next Wednesday in Manhattan, 14th Street. There's links all over my Facebook page. You can go check it out. Click on the link, get more info about the event, and buy a ticket. They're only $25. So the basis is it's a business professional networking event. So I've invited, of course, everybody I know in the legal space because that's where I've worked for so many years. Also opened it up to finance, to pharma, to tech, to anybody that works in a corporate setting. Like I say, when you go to work in the morning, you check into an office or a cubicle, and that's your setting, and you're under a lot of intense pressure, and you don't get a lot of human interaction, and like as far as eye-to-eye contact, that kind of thing. Get out of the office. Come next Wednesday, meet people, mingle, have a couple drinks, a couple snacks. And in the middle of the event, I'm going to do some exercises from one of my workshops that I do called The Power of Listening. And it's interactive, it's fun. And then when we break, you get to keep networking and meeting all of our vendors. And you'll notice that you'll be listening in a new way, likely, and paying attention in another way. So it's a little bit different. It's like a networking event with a wellness twist, as I call it, because my vendors, especially, most of them are in more of the wellness, higher vibrational realm is what I'm going to call. They're taking things to the next level, and one of them is the lovely Elena Deutsch. Did I pronounce that right?
You did, yes, thank you.
She's here with me today, and I'm going to just let her, without further ado, I'm going to let Elena just let us know who she is and tell us a little bit more about you, Elena.
Sure, thanks, Gayle. Excited to be part of the event next week on Wednesday, July 24th. And my name is Elena Deutsch, and I have founded a business called WILL, which stands for Women Interested in Leaving Big Law. And I actually have some mill clients as well.
Oh, great. That was one of my questions.
Also. So I tell my guys, just turn the W upside down and you're all good. I'm going to have a new logo one day that combines them. And someone jokingly said it's going to be people interested in leaving big law. So I help lawyers who feel stuck and unhappy, who want more meaning in their life, who want to do work that feels fulfilling and creative. Often many of my clients feel like either it's never really felt like a great fit for them to be a lawyer, or they've done it and they're burnt out and they want something new. So I help them figure out what it is they really want to do, tap into their beliefs and change their mindset and see the world in new ways and go for it.
Cool. So I had recently come up in a conversation I was, of course, talking about Wednesday, and then I mentioned that you would be there, and someone I know said they know an attorney who's getting ready to retire and that it might be a really good match for you. Do you work with a lot of people who are about to retire as well?
Yeah, I work with lawyers who are anywhere from first-year associates to 25-plus-year partners. Right. Or people who've been in the field for that long. So sure, if they want to, for any lawyer who wants to figure out, like, what do I want to do next? Or I feel really unhappy with this. This has pigeonholed me. I feel like I don't have any other skills I could use. So I help people figure out their skills, what they really love to do, not just what they're good at, their interests, and how to take an interest, maybe not a hobby, which is just something they do purely for pleasure, but something they really feel connected to, and expand that into something they can do both for work and for money and pleasure.
Yeah, excellent. And it's so important. And again, like myself, my experience in the legal industry has been about 14 years, mostly in the legal services industry, though. So my clients were also attorneys and paralegals, and I would frequently go in to visit them in their offices, and just so many times just get, I want to say, I felt sad because they just were so overwhelmed.
Yes.
And even taking 5 minutes to just kind of like relax and have a cup of tea with me and just like talk about their day was stressful for them, because they couldn't, it's all about billable hours and the whole thing, it's just, there's no time for them. And then
it doesn't feel possible. Yes.
Right. And when you get out of the office, then it's family time, then it's still no time for you. So it's kind of like, where do you find that balance? So that's really great. I had another question for you. I'm curious how you discovered for yourself how you wanted to coach women lawyers, but you mentioned you do men as well. So you do coach men as well. So how did you realize for yourself that that's what you wanted to do?
Sure. So my dad was a lawyer. My dad was a criminal defense attorney in New York City in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And it took a real toll on him. And he was quite, after he stopped working, he was never really quite the same. And he got sick after he stopped working. And he was, his life kind of went on this downward trajectory. And as a kid, I always thought I was going to be a lawyer. But I saw it have a real impact on him. Mm-hmm. So as a kid, I always wanted to be happy and help other people. That's just how I'm hardwired.
Yeah, I get it.
And I do the Strengths Finder assessment with everyone. So I know that my strengths are in positivity and ideation and connectedness and strategy. So I really love helping people. And I ended up going to public health and had a whole career in that. And then I started coaching when my kids were little and I had a little bit more time. And it just clicked for me that coaching was a thing. And then I always attracted a few lawyers to me for whatever reason. And my mom was a psychotherapist too. So I had the lawyer and the therapist. And they're both gone. They're both dead. And so I definitely feel I'm pulling forward some of the best of both of them. Mm-hmm. And I had a business previous to this where we did leadership coaching and team building and retreats and things. And I would coach lawyers for big firms. I was coaching at Cleary and White and Case. And when I would, clarify what their goals were, and often it was young women who were rising senior associates. Do you want to make partner? I would ask, what are your goals? And they would often lean in and whisper, can I really talk to you about this? and I would say yes. And sometimes we might need to re-clarify the goal of the engagement.
Yeah.
But I would help them. And I helped this one woman get very clear. She wanted to have a job in a startup. She wanted to go to an in-house role in a startup with the benefit of unlimited vacation days. And when she said that, I got full body chills. Yeah. And that's always a sign that my client is onto something, when I get this really physiologic response.
Right.
So within 2 months, she did. And I was on vacation. We had a phone call. I was on Cape Cod, and she was getting ready for her interview with the CEO, and she ended up getting the job. But on that vacation, it was the summer I had turned 50, and my mom had died a couple of years earlier. And I kept getting this wake up idea shaking me out of bed, literally at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And I kept having imaginary conversations with future clients. And I started writing down all the things that were coming to me. And the words "women interested in leaving law" came out of my pen, and "will."
Ooh, I just got those chills for you right there. Yeah,
and I came back from my vacation. I told my business partner, I'd had this idea actually, and I think this is important, Gayle, because I think people think I've wanted to do this for a long time and I've never done it. And I had this idea for at least 4 years before I started working on it. But then in that moment, after that experience with that client, I just got super clear, and I was just and I just went for it. Mm-hmm. And I told my business partner I wanted to pivot. I left my business partnership, and he's one of my best friends, and we're still really close. And his business is now thriving, and I'm serving the lawyers who just, there's a space for them that's private, that's confidential, that's where they can drop their mask and be a real person.
I just got those chills again. That's so important. So important.
So that's how I did it. And it's been 3 years this summer.
Oh, excellent. So congratulations on 3 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
well,
I mean,
it's 3 years since I had the idea. And then I did a pilot 2 summers ago with 5 women from across the country. And now then I started officially in 2018. So it's a process, but if you never do it, it's like that Wayne Gretzky quote, right? Like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
So I took my shot. I'm taking my shot.
I love it. And it's really interesting for me too, because there's so many parallels between myself and the people that I'm meeting for this event, specifically like you and another, one of my friends who's coming on as a sponsor and another friend who's coming on as a sponsor. And we're just doing these conversations. I'm like, wow, there's so many parallels, because same as you, I had an idea for a business for 4 years before I did anything. Yeah. And it was called Legal Ease Wellness. So it's based in wellness of the legal field, because I worked in for so long. And like I said, it was like my heart hurt, because it was like, there's got to be something that I can fit in. And yeah, I'm still like figuring out what it's gonna be, and it's still part of what's on my periphery. But yeah, it's just so interesting. And yes, there is a space. And what you said, it's nice for people to know there's this place they can go to take their mask off and just let their hair down and just be because they're so used to fitting into a mold, So yeah, I appreciate you, and I'm not an attorney, so I can only imagine. I can't wait to see who shows up on Wednesday. So what are you going to be doing for us? You're going to have a little table, or are you going to be consulting, or what are you going to be doing at the event next week?
I think I'm going to be doing a boundary setting exercise, and it's super fast, and I can walk people through it quickly. So it teaches people how to say yes to what's most important to them, like their sleep or exercise or spending time with the people they love. And how to say no to working on weekends and not having a vacation, or how to say no to whatever the nonsense at the office, and how to say yes and keep the relationship open and not lose social capital, and really create that boundary so you have time for what's most important to you.
I love that. Yeah. And I just heard some people I know who work in big law in these firms where there really is, like, they live there. They have couches, sofas, they sleep in a little cot on their office floor. They just work. I just almost heard, it's like I heard a group voice of them going, yeah, right, say no. So, but you run into it all the time. So there's a gray area, right, where they can find places to say no that work for them still.
I'm not walking in their shoes, and everyone has to make decisions that support their life and their goals. And I'm not telling anyone what to do.
Right.
And for myself and for my clients, I help people learn how to say no and learn how to teach other people how they want to be treated. And take 100, and it's something I work on every day, Gayle. I am not perfect by any stretch of the
imagination. None of us are. That's why this is
taking 100% responsibility for my life. And no one else can do that for me. So, and at the end of the day, we all have choices.
Yep.
And that's the choice you are making now, and you have to, for whatever your reasons are. That's totally honorable. And for myself, it's just a question of becoming more conscious and more intentional about how I want to be in the world, and helping clients do that as well.
Right. And I feel like I could talk to you for days.
Well, we'll have some time next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's really great, because what you're saying with the boundary setting is very important too. Part of it's going to come up, not necessarily the boundary setting, but in the workshop that I do, I'm only going to be doing a couple exercises, but people are going to get a clearer view of how they speak to themselves, and how to hear themselves speaking. So there's going to be a shift, and that's part of it. Is really just like being able to, what do I actually want, and be able to clear out the mind chatter and go to the heart. So it's very.
I love it. Yeah, that's a lot of work I do with clients is on the inner critic, and naming them, noticing them, naming them, telling yourself something new. Like I I can have a weekend off.
Mhm.
I can figure out something else to do. I'm smart and competent and hardworking, and I can do it. If Gayle and Elena can start their own business,
then anybody can.
Anybody can, really. You smart lawyers, hardworking lawyers, like really.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not making you happy, you can do something different.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, again, like you said, the 4-year thing keeps popping up for me too. It's usually something that people have been thinking about for a long time in the back of their mind. And a lot of times it's something like, Elena walks into a room and all of a sudden they're like, you know what, this is it. This is my chance. Right. So what?
All in everyone's own time.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I talk to people and sometimes, they're ready and sometimes they're not. And that's okay too.
Absolutely. Happens all the time for me as well. Again, it's nice that people start to know that we're here for them. And we have to just keep opening those doors, and it's all good. It's all great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a couple other questions for
you.
So what was my next questions? Oh, do you have anything, I know you said you're going to be doing the boundary setting exercise with people that come to you at the event. Do you have any other special offers or anything special for these specific event goers, people that show up? Are they going to get like anything extra from you, or?
I don't have any like special events or anything happening right now or special offers right now, but I will come up with something before Wednesday for sure.
Not mandatory. I'm just curious. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a retreat in May and that was really amazing. And I wished I had my next one ready to talk about, but I don't. So I'll have something special for anyone who's at the event on Wednesday for sure.
All right, great. And then my last question for you is, I like to ask if there's any tip that you can give us. Like, is there a question that most people ask you that's like you're always getting this one question, or something like that? What is one question you're always asked, or if you have one tip you like to give, what would that be?
Okay, so first let me do the question I'm always asked. So people often ask me, like, what do your clients go on to do after you work with them, after they leave Big Law?
Yeah.
So I would say about a half to a third go to an in-house role. So I've had clients who are at, some of the ride sharing companies or, Lyft and Uber and Via. And I've had clients also go to other in-house startup kind of roles. Mm-hmm. And then the rest, it's like a huge range. So one is working her way into a museum, not a curatorial role, but like an exhibitions role. She wants to get into museum exhibitions. Another has started in a project management for a real estate company. And she's in meetings all day and she loves it. She's out of her like silo and is, working with other people. Yeah. And someone else has started their own business and is doing employment law. Plus, she has a side hustle where she rents out an Airstream trailer. So she's starting a camping business too. Cool. So it's just a huge range. So that's one question I get asked a lot. So anything from, in-house to very entrepreneurial. And I think the tip, and this goes along with what we were talking about, is like we all have inner critics. Mm-hmm. We all have voices and noise in our head that tells us we can't. And, I work on this all the time too in yoga class, right? There's always that voice that's like, you can't do that pose, you can't. And it's like, I can. I have to, it's constant work. It does get easier though. So my tip around inner critics is just start to really notice them and to notice that they are not you. Like your essential self is the part that hears the voice of the inner critic. Mm-hmm. So really notice them and say hello to them. And maybe give them a name. And I've got one who calls one of hers Bitchy Brenda. And sorry if that's offensive to anyone, but
they're fine. That's fine.
So now she knows, Bitchy Brenda, just calm down. I've got this. And then you tell yourself something new. Like, I can do this. I am competent and hardworking. I'll figure this out. Mm-hmm. That's my tip. Notice, name, and new with the inner critics.
I love it. And, I'm noticing too that what you're saying is beautiful. I love naming the inner critic. Is that what you come up with to say back to the inner critic is more based in truth and who you actually are, but the inner critic is just, I don't know what you can sum up what you think it is, but everybody has their own idea what it is. But yeah, it's just, I love the idea of coming from truth and love, and it just shifts everything. So once you start getting into that zone of reminding yourself that I can do this, it's like, well, yeah, of course I can do this. Yeah.
Right. I think the inner critic is fear, and it just wants it from that old part of our brain that wants to keep us safe.
Yeah, well, yeah, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, safe is not always safe, right?
Yeah.
Keep everything the same at least.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been really fun. I'm really glad that you had a chance to jump on with me. I just had a couple other things I want to add to everybody who's watching. Again, the event that Elena is going to be joining me at is on Wednesday, the 24th of July. So that's next Wednesday. So it's 6 days away in New York City. I'm going to put a link to the Eventbrite under this post, so you can just click it, buy a ticket, share it with whoever you want. And then, of course, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm still looking for one volunteer potentially. So if you're interested in volunteering, let me know. And I think that's it. So again, I'm open for questions. Elena will be at the event if you want to talk to her in person. If you know anyone who works in legal or business or corporate, just send them this link and let them get out of the office and have a good time and meet some new people. And that's all from me. So do you have any closing remarks for us other than that?
I was just writing to my newsletter about this event for I'm going to send it out tomorrow. And a lot of people I start working with, they experience a lot of anxiety. And, so I wrote, we're going to meet other people who want to go from anxiety to agency.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So everybody hear that? Go from anxiety to agency. And again, if you're curious of what it is, but you're not sure if you want to go, just go anyway. And then you'll know you won't be curious anymore. It's just the easiest
follow
way.
Your curiosity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Curiosity is big clues. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you again, Elena. This has been wonderful. And share.
Okay. Thanks, Gayle. Hope to meet many of you then.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.